going to be good.
Hello, everyone, and good afternoon to me, and good morning to my guest, Katharine Giovanni, who is in North Carolina, and it's been very cold, snowy, but she's smiling. We were talking before, and you might have caught it, and we're going to have fun today. So, and you, as you know, I'm in London, and this is Spiritual Infinity, and we're going to hear Katharine's journey of how she connected to her spirituality, because we're living in the time where we need to wake up and realize that we have a power within us because we're connected to the Creator, and we have everything we need to live the life we are blessed that we could live. But somehow we became disconnected. So it's time to awaken. So let's have fun. Katharine in North Carolina, hello.
Hey, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So today we're going to hear about your journey of how you came to terms with your spirituality, how it impacted your life to what you're doing today. So down to you, Katharine, please.
I was born clairaudient, which means I can hear voices in my head. And no, I don't need a straitjacket. And I've been able to do this since I was a young child. But I grew up in the 60s and 70s. And back then, if you exhibited even a smidge of intuition, they would slap a "you're crazy as a bedbug" sticker across your forehead, give you meds, and put you in a psychiatrist's chair. And I wish I was joking. I'm not. So I learned very quickly to not say anything. And I was I figured it out because I always got answers in my head when I asked questions, but nobody else did. Imagine my shock. They never gave me the test answers, though. I tried for years, tried to get them to give me the test answers to exams, but they never would. But it served me very well, and I kept it to myself, and I kept this hidden for 40 years. Because I always figured if I told people that I was clairaudient, clairsentient, claircognizant, and empathic, which means I can hear, see, feel, and hear, see, feel, and know things. I do all of them all at the same time. I was kind of born with the lights on, so to speak. But I learned very quickly that people would look at me like I'd just grown another head on my body. So as I got to be, and a bunch of stuff happened, but as I got older, I learned to change my words. So I would give people readings. They just wouldn't know what I was doing. I'd use things like, have you ever thought about ... You know what would be good for me? I read an article the other day and this blah, blah, blah. And I was actually giving the message that they were supposed to hear. And I call it the little bird in your shoulder, and it served me really, really, really well over the years. And it saved my life 3 times. Not that I'm counting. The first time was in the 8th grade, and I was terribly bullied in school because I was different from everybody else, and I didn't fit into the box they all wanted me to fit into, right? Yeah. So I thought about committing suicide one night. And I got a whole bunch of pills and I lined them up on my desk. Must have had 100 pills on my desk. And all of a sudden I hear in my head really quite loud, call Vivian, call Vivian, call Vivian, who was my best friend at the time. And I couldn't get it out of my head. So I went into the hall to the wall phone. This is how old I am, everybody. And it had this long cord because that's how we got our privacy. And I pulled the cord into my room and I called her and she talked me out of it. She went on to be a vascular surgeon and saved hundreds and hundreds of lives. I just happened to be the first one.
How old were you then?
13.
Oh.
I was 13. So I kind of bumbled through life and other things happened. You know, my parents died and got married and all these kinds of things. But through it all, I kept my intuition quiet. But I also figured.
Let me interrupt you there, please, because as I said, there are people out there. Some haven't had what you had. Some have, and some are not sure. So can we go back just before you were 13? What kind of things were you picking up and having to hold on to, and how were you treated and how you felt in that period, before? Because I'm sure there's people out there doing the same and they're not sure, and were they right or are they mad? And what were you going through? What were you picking up, and what was the reaction and how you had to react? Say like 7 or 8 or...
I knew things that other people didn't. I'd know something before it happened. And because I was a child, I'd blurt it out. And people didn't take it very well, because then they get weirded out because I was right. And I'd hear things in my head as if to say, you might want to back away. Don't go there. Go left instead of going right. And I learned very quickly. And I was a kid, so I didn't question where the voice was coming from. I didn't question whether everybody else heard it. I just blindly did it. And it served me really, really well. 10 out of 10 human beings on the planet are intuitive. You see it, feel it, know it, sense it, or it's just there. Everybody has this ability. It's just a matter of which one works for you. But all of us have it. I just happened to be born with it and didn't have to wake up. I kind of was born this way. But when I came out with stuff, I learned very quickly that people, they would look at you funny because, how could you possibly know that? You're 8. I don't know. Just kind of do. And I told one girl that she had angels surrounding her because she did. And she looked at me, like I had just come down from Mars. And I'm like, but you do. And I was a kid. It's like, they're standing right there. How could you not see them? So I learned very, very quietly to adapt to the principle of our ancestors who said children should be seen and not heard. So I dove into books, and I was a voracious reader, and I just learned to keep it to myself until I met my best friend, Katie, who is a speaker. And I was talking to her one day, and the messages started to come through. So I pulled my old trick to give her the message without her knowing it. She's really intuitive. And she took one look at me over Zoom, and she said, "Stop it. I know what you're doing." And she convinced me to come out of the closet, and I've been here ever since.
Oh my gosh. So at 13, you wanted to commit suicide. You spoke out of it, and then you continued through your early schools into late teens. How was it then for you?
I turned into one of those kids who had 1 or 2 friends, and it was depressed and angry all the time. And I wore all black. Of course, I was living in New York City at the time, and everybody wore black, but I just kind of wore dark colors. And eventually my parents, after I graduated from high school, they decided I was a troubled kid. So they sent me to an outdoor program called Dynamy, which is long since defunct, but it's an outward bound, spend 3 months in the woods and then do a bunch of internships. And part of that, you go canoeing and hiking, and you go off the cliffs, and you do all the stuff and do all the things. And one of it was you had to spend 3 days in the woods alone, all by yourself. No food. You have water. You had a tent. You had a sleeping bag, and they gave you a journal to write with and a pen, which is when I learned that I'm a good writer. And after, you can only lie to yourself for so long, and something clicked in my head. And I started listening to the voices that I've been hearing since I was a kid. And I started to pay attention. And I decided I didn't like who I was very much. So I decided to change the dime. And the counselors said nobody had ever changed as much as I had. And they said, "What happened out there?" And I said, "I don't know. I guess I just decided to grow up because I decided I wanted to be a teacher." But it took about 20 years for me to become who I wanted because I was a kid. I was 19. I didn't know anything. I was young. But I dedicated my life to other people, so to speak. And I've been doing it ever since.
Okay. So here you are, having all these intuitions, having all this knowing, hearing, saying. 19, you went on. You in between what you're doing now and that time, what took place in your life? Because it wasn't just a clear road.
Now, they credit me with being one of the original founders of the independent concierge industry. And years ago, it was around, I want to say 1998, before the turn of the century. Don't we feel old now just saying that, right? It was about 1998, 1999. And all of a sudden, I get the hit, you need to change your business. I was a meeting planner at the time. So we flipped our business into a concierge business. And then I heard you need to write a book. I've since written 16, but this was the first one. And I thought, what do you mean write a book? And I argue, because I argue with them all the time. I said, you're crazy. I'm not going to write a book. I can't write a book. I wrote a book called The Concierge Manual. And I eventually, one thing led to another, started an international concierge association, and everything went forward. And in 2012, I got breast cancer, stage 3. So I had to tap out for about about 4 years. And then I came back into the industry and finally retired in 2020 when I met Katie, who said, okay, it's time for you to go into the next chapter of your life. But even when I was in the industry, nobody knew how I was doing what I was doing. And I know everybody thinks I was brilliant, but quite honestly, it's because I was intuitive. I was a good listener. I listened and did what they told me to do.
Okay. Let me stop you there as well, because you touched on that in between that time, you're a cancer survivor. And we know cancer is because of an imbalance, anger, whatever that you have to go through. When you were at that stage in your cancer, what was it that you had to face? Because there are things you had to face about yourself and your past, which is all part of that journey. Because that's part of what has to come out.
I had to get rid of the anger. I had to get rid of the anger of my birth family. That's the anger of years and years of it. And if I hadn't listened to that little bird on my shoulder, I would be dead. This is number 2. I am allergic to exercise. If you go into the dictionary and you look under exercise, my name will not be there, right? So imagine my surprise when the angel said, you need to run. You want me to what now? You need to take up jogging. Why? They never tell you why. It's very irritating. They just said I had to run. Didn't give me the why. It's like blind faith, right? So I found the Couch to 5K running program, which is brilliant. It does exactly what you think it does, and it's absolutely brilliant. And eventually I ran a 5K. And as I was running, the weight started to come off. And I went from a 14 down to an 8, down to a 6. I knew it was coming off too fast. And the day before my birthday, I did a self-exam, found a lump, found out that my breasts are too dense, so mammograms didn't work on me, which would have been nice to know years ago. And they found it stage 3 triple positive cancer. And the surgeon told me if I hadn't taken up jogging, they wouldn't have found it. I wouldn't have lost the weight. I would have died.
Now, you said something, and I know I read it when I was looking through your bio, when you said that you started to jog, the weight was coming, I was this size, that was that size. Now, trying to remember your bio, it also said you were eating like for comfort, and it was all part of.
I was, I was angry. I was really angry. Now, I had already learned about forgiveness, which is what I teach today, but I didn't learn the system of forgiveness. I was just, people say, oh, you need to forgive. Nobody tells you how.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do it. Just tell me how. I want the steps. How do I do it? And then what if I don't want to forgive this person, like my father? I don't want to forgive him. Didn't matter. He was dead. Didn't want to forgive him. So what do? I can't just forgive. Just do it. How? So, but I did just do it for the easy ones, and it started to open up my life, and it started to make me feel better. And then when I came out with the actual system, which I can go through for your audience if you want me to, It got easier because I was able to forgive and don't click off. Just stay with me. I was able to forgive people, places, and things. So I forgave the cancer. I forgave the chemo. I forgave the radiation. I forgave the fact that I got it. I forgave a bunch of things, and it completely opened up my life. I mean, completely opened up my life. And I was healthy. It took about 4 years to get truly back on my feet. And now I'm cancer free years later.
So you've had to face this cancer, which is anger, and in facing that anger, learning to forgive. Now, you said you went through how, and it's true. People say you forgive. How do you forgive? How do you go? How do you do that process of forgiving?
Well, first of all, there's a couple of things that are absolutely wrong that everybody believes, and it's wrong. The first one is, just because I forgive you doesn't mean I want a relationship with you. Probably don't. Just because I forgive you doesn't mean I'm going to reach out and talk to you again and go have a cup of tea and now we're going to have a relationship again. I have boundaries in place. Well, they don't deserve my forgiveness. No, they don't. You're not doing it for them. You're doing it for you. Well, if I forgive them, it means I'm giving in, and it means they were right and I was wrong. No, it does not. They're still wrong. They're still a dumpster fire. They still have to go through the amends. They still got to do what they do. They're still, they're still a mess. You are forgiving because you want them out of your head. You want to stop thinking about them. You want to stop breathing about them. And if you go into a shop and you see an apple pie and this person made apple pies, I don't want to be triggered. So my system is designed to help you forgive. Now, 10 out of 10 people, including yourself, when I talk about forgiveness, you're thinking of the unforgivable person in your life that absolutely wrecked your world. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being horrific and 1 being easy, every single person right now is thinking of their number 10. That's fair. Everybody does. But my system, I want you to start with the easy ones, and we will work our way up to the dumpster fires later. You start with the easy ones and you work your way up the scale.
Yeah. No, what you said is absolutely correct, because it's not about, and I love the way you said it, it's not about because I forgive you, I've got to have a relationship with you. Because I forgive you, I've got to talk to you. Because I forgive you, everything's hunky. No. What it is that you have to realize that that person is who they are, and they're doing what they thought was correct. And what they did was not correct, but in their head, they think it's correct. So they're doing but you can see it. So realizing that they think it's right and you feel it's not right, you forgive them and you say, no, you have to sort out your mess. But I forgive you because you don't realize it, and I'll move on. And you leave them. You don't have to do it.
But here's the part that nobody knows that I came up with, and I didn't come up with. It was gifted to me from the other side, if you will. The reason I get people coming up to me all the time saying, I did forgive them. I did do the work. Yeah, you did. You did forgive them, but they don't stay forgiven. They have a nasty habit of coming back into your head, and you get triggered again. You see their name, you see a color, and you're triggered again. How do you forgive them forever? Well, you didn't forgive the energy. You didn't forgive energy. That every human being on the planet, including this little silver microphone that I am talking to, has an energy field around it. And Einstein clearly stated energy is neither created nor destroyed. It just transforms into something else. So when you get mad, and nobody thinks about these things except for me, when it leaves your mouth, where does it go? You think it dissipates into the universe like magic. It does not. It hangs around your energy field. And it's even more insipid than this. We're going to go down a rabbit hole now. Buckle up.
Come on.
It travels from lifetime to lifetime. So when you get angry and you have an incredible amount of trauma, it doesn't just go away. It follows you. So the trauma you had as a kid is still in your energy field. So when I say I want you to start with the easy ones, what I want you to do is I want you to sit down with a pen and paper or your iPad, I don't care. And I want you to write down all the people you think you have to forgive. All of them. Your top 3 people will be those unforgivable people. Keep going. The kid in school who tripped you in the hallway, write that person down. You were at the grocery store yesterday on aisle 4 and you got a little shopping cart road rage because there was somebody right in front of you in the middle and wouldn't move. Forgive that person. And then I want you to rate all these people from 1 to 10, 10 being awful, 1 being easy. And then I want you to start with the 1s and work your way up to the 10s. You don't have to forgive the unforgivables. I am the only one on the planet that will say that. Why? Because there's a lot of people, places, and things that you can forgive before you even get to that person. And I'll talk about that in a second. But I want you to take that first person and I want you to be alone in the room with your cell phone off. I know you're twitching. That's okay. If you can't manage to turn it off, then just turn the sound off for a minute. Yeah. Put it under a pillow, something. And I want you to imagine, let's say it's a kid from high school. I want you to imagine that this kid is standing in front of you, not the adult. I want you to see the kid you knew as they were back then. And now this is your chance to get it out and get closer. Say whatever you want. You're alone in a room. Say whatever you want. And it doesn't matter if the person is dead, because where they are or not doesn't matter a lick, because they're alive and well in your head. We're not doing it for them. We don't care about them, with all due respect. I care about you. So once you've gotten it out, you put your hand in your heart, and that's just to remind yourself to say the words from your heart. And you say, I completely forgive Karen. I forgive the energy around Karen. I completely forgive myself. I forgive the energy around myself. I completely forgive the energy around the entire relationship. And so it is. Amen. End it any way you like. Now check in with your body. Is it a 1 and it's a 0 now? Great. Cross their name off the list. Was it a level 4 and you're still kind of angry? Cross it off, put a 3, wait 24 hours, do it again. This happened to a friend of mine. She was right in front of me at the time. It was a level 4 person. She did what I just said that fast. She did it lightning fast. And then she looked at me and she said, I'm pissed. And I said, excuse me? She said, I'm even more angry now than I was before. It shot up to a 10. Well, the reason it did is because there's a closet in the back of your mind and it's padlocked, but there's a movie running. You don't know it's there. You turn the movie off if you knew it was there, but you don't know it's there. And what happened is my forgiveness mantra was the magic formula. And your brain went, okay, since he's ready. And you opened up the closet and flooded her with memories. So we changed the 4 to a 10, put it at the back of the pack, and we kept going. This is a really easy system that everybody can do. And if you never get to your unforgivables, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah.
Because you're working one at a time. You keep on going and cleaning.
And the easy ones, the ones that are easy to toss.
And the thing is, once you begin and you start with the easy one, that cleansing is you're getting more and more cleansed. Things are getting a bit lighter. It may not feel like it, but the fact that you're doing it, you're lightening your loads. And therefore, it's easier for you to get through and get there. And the more you do it, I found, the more you understand. You start to understand things a bit better. It takes time, but you start to understand and realize that people only do what they think is right. And unfortunate, whatever it is, that they are, and they're not you, because you're different. Everybody's different.
Hindsight is 20/20, isn't it?
Yeah, and they have to face their own. They have to face, they have to take responsibility for their own actions. They will come up to it. And they have to look at themselves, and then they have to ask themselves to forgive themselves for what they've done to others. And then, so it is, forgiveness is in so many different angles and ways. And also, I was speaking to somebody else earlier, and I think you agree, when you start to do this forgiveness, it's not just about you, because it's that energy, it goes into your family, it goes into generations.
It's the ultimate of intergenerational trauma, which is a buzzword Americans love to bandy around. But the forgiveness system that I have, it's bigger than you think, because let's take the unforgivables, for example. We'll use my father, who died years ago, but I'll throw him under the bus. He was a number 10. Didn't want to forgive the man. Didn't even want to forgive the energy around the man. You can forgive anything in this world. So I took one memory and I picked it apart. And I am very serious about this. I forgave the table that we were sitting at, the energy around the table, the chair we were sitting in, the energy around the chair, the food that we ate, the energy around the food, the house we were in, the city we were in, the energy around these things. I have not forgiven my father yet, but I'm pulling apart. You can forgive the table, the bed, the chair, the park, the bench. Still haven't forgiven the person yet. So then I tried, okay, can I forgive the person? Still was bad. Still number 10. So I forgave the energy around dad. And that kind of worked for a while. And then I was able to finally slowly forgive dad. And eventually I got him down to a 1 and I forgave him completely. This is not a quick fix. This is going to take you weeks and weeks. And I want you to do like only a couple people a night before you go to bed. I want it at night, because your body is going to heal itself when it sleeps. Yeah. All that energy you've been carrying around has to go somewhere. There was a really brilliant study done in Japan, and it's by a guy who studied water. And what he did, and it's called the Japanese water study. You can Google it. It's really interesting. And he,
yeah, the crystals, the water.
And I'll say, yep, I'll say it fast, just in the interest of time. He took several containers of water. One container he spoke love to. The other he spoke hate. Then he froze the water and put it under a microscope. The water he spoke love to had gorgeous transformations. The water he spoke hate to had these malformations and in awful colors. The human body is over 95% water. So when your self-talk is bad, when you're angry, what do you think you're doing to the water cells within your own body?
Yes.
And when I first did this exercise, I am, shocker, a little bit of an overachiever. Nobody is shocked by that. And I had a list of like 50 people on my list. And I thought, this is going to be great. I'm going to be like a phoenix rising from the ashes. I'm going to be like blasting out of a cocoon. I'm going to be a butterfly. I'm going to get through this list. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to be Catherine 2.0. Yeah, the universe laughed at me when I said that, because, yeah, I forgave many, many people on that list, but I spent the next 3 days in bed with what everybody thought was a stomach flu. I forgave too many people. And what it really was is Native American Indians told me what it was. It's called energy sickness. And the cells in my body had to get rid of the negative energy. And if you only do like 5 a night, you're fine. But I had done like 50. And I literally made myself sick. So when you're doing this process, if it's somebody between a 1 and a 7, you could probably do up to 8 to 10 a night. But if it's an 8, 9, or 10, 1 a night, because you will make yourself sick. I had a friend who didn't believe me. And she thought, I'm just going to kick out the entire list. Yeah, she got the flu. Called me up and said, you were right. And I didn't say anything. I just smiled. But yeah, I was.
Katharine, I love what you're saying, because I've never understood it in this way. And all those who are listening, I'm sure they might not, could have, realize that when you do such an amount, and as you and I know his name is Motto. I've got 2 of his books, and I got my father to get one as well, with the water, messages from the water. Yep. And it's absolutely brilliant. And
it is brilliant.
You know, majority of our body is liquid. So when we're saying things, it's having that effect on our cells. And of course, so when you start to forgive and you start to say it differently, and you're going at a pace, it's going to be a pressure on your own body to pump it all out. So yes, it's a way of just taking your time, do it gradually. And
you're going to be tired. most people are tired when they do this work, which is why I want you to do it before bed. And your body does heal itself when it's sleeping. So if you do enough, your body will take care of it. Don't be surprised and don't be scared if you're in the bathroom for a little bit, because that's just your body literally processing all the anger. You did not eat a piece of bad fish. It's just a minor little energy hiccup. I want to say it's not energy sickness. It's like an energy cold, and it'll pass really fast. But don't be surprised. Be grateful it's happening, because you are literally clearing out decades of stuff that you've been carrying around with you. People are going to notice. They're going to say, Kenzie, do you have a new haircut, or did you lose some weight? You look so good today. And you can either tell them or not. It's up to you. But you're going to start to smell things better. You're going to start to notice relationships. You're going to start to lose some weight. There's a reason to do it. There's going to be new opportunities that you're going to pay attention to. Why didn't you see them before? Because you were so focused on the anger, you couldn't see anything else.
And when you also said generational, it goes back, and you said you could bring it from other lifetimes, as you say. When you let that go, it's hanging around. It follows you from lifetime to lifetime. So when you're doing that forgiveness, you're also cleaning back, and so that forward, it's not following you. You're getting lighter and lighter, and that is a good reason to really do this work, because again, sometimes you don't even know what's going on in the back. Sometimes some people have had to be regressed to find out why are they like this, what is wrong, because they've been carrying it.
So here, let me blow your mind real quick.
Yes.
In the book, I'm only going to teach you how to do one list, but I have an online class where I'm going to actually teach you how to do 3. The first list is the one we just talked about. I want you to do that first. The second list is a list of all the people that need to forgive you. And you write down all the events and all the people, and it could be a people, a place, or a thing, doesn't matter. And then you rate them from 1 to 10, and you start at the ones and you work your way up 10. The third list will blow your mind. I want you to forgive money. I want you to write down how your parents handled money, how you handled money. I want you to write down that apartment that you had to take because you didn't have any money, and it was right over a fish market in August. Oh, that was mine. Yeah, bad smell in August. I want you to write down that car you were forced to get, or the clothes that you couldn't get. I want you to write all of this down. Rate them from 1 to 10, and start with the ones, work your way up to the 10s. Maybe you went bankrupt or something. That would be a 10. And that's the third list you run. Energy, money is energy.
Yeah.
That's it. And energy.
Everything's energy. Everything is energy. Yeah. Because everything is energy. We are energy. The table is energy. Electricity, light, whatever, everything, because science has said everything's vibrating at different frequencies. Those things you can see are more dense. Those things you don't see are less dense, but it's all energy. So it's all energy that we have, from energy to energy, so forgiving and clearing, so that we can be evenly connected to whatever is needed.
That's right. Everything.
You're good. The way you've done it, as you say, the 1, 2, 3 is the different. Not only us forgiving somebody, we've got to ask for forgiveness, because we're perfect. We've done things. What about you? All right, we make these lists of people we remember that have upset us. You also do a list of people that we feel we have upset. And you also do a list of things that happened to you that needed money that you didn't get. But what about the people that you don't remember? What about the people that you have hurt that you don't realize have hurt, but that energy is still following you, that you don't realize? And what about those situations that you don't even realize that it's happened and it was something negative. How do you go about that? How
You
do
say
you
something very general, because if there's some things out there that you don't remember, obviously it's not going to be a number 10. It's going to be a 1. So you would put, you put people who need to forgive me, and that would be a 1. And you'd say something like, all the people I have hurt that I don't remember completely forgive me, and the energy around it. Something very, very simple like that, because you don't remember everything, but just make it, it's like I completely forgive all the trauma in my past lives and the energy around the trauma. You could even say something, like that. So it's all about intention, and it's if you intend to have them forgive you, then it will happen. But make that a level 1 and just make a general statement, because that will be easy to toss.
Because
really,
you can't remember it, and
you can't remember it anyway.
You can't remember, but obviously there's something, because if the energy that we want, or the life we want, is not being how we want it, it's because there's energy, there's frequencies around that's not lining up. There's something is putting it offline.
That's right.
And it is something that we've done, or somebody's done, or whatever it is, and we have to get back on that higher vibration. And it is about clearing us so that we can be on a higher vibration.
A friend of mine was writing her list, and she wrote down a little red wagon. And I looked at her and I said, "What?" And she said, "Little red wagon." She had no idea why she wrote it down on her list. She didn't remember the little red wagon. Obviously, from her childhood, something obviously happened. So she made it a level 1. She forgave the little red wagon and the energy around the little red wagon, because obviously her brain came up with a memory just enough that she needed to toss it, and she did. She never did find out about the little red wagon, but we all figure it's probably something to do with kids and fighting and something like that. But don't be surprised if you write weird things on your list. Don't judge the list. I can't say that enough. Don't judge the list. You write, and remember, you don't have to have a relationship with these people. You don't have to tell anybody you're doing it. You do it in the privacy of your own home. Nobody has to know. Just you and the dog. That's it.
I like what you just said about the little red wagon, because we've been saying all along that everybody is intuitive. Everybody has these gifts, and we don't realize. We just need to listen. So right. Little red wagon, she heard, she listened.
Yep.
She just put it down.
She did.
So as you said, don't judge the list when you're doing. If something comes into your head, that is your higher self, that intuition, remembering things for you. Put it down. Put it down. Something that you have, or we haven't remembered, thought about. Maybe something you did. It may be the second list where you need to be forgiven. Some things happen, and if it comes into your head, write it down, because your higher self. Because when you start to do this, and you start to do it from the point where you are asking for that help, that guidance, because this is what we're talking now. You're getting this. I'm asking you. You've been guided to give this. Here we are. So let's take that on board to help us clean and clear our own energy, so that we can be that higher frequency and energy that is connected from the Creator and being as we should be, cleaning up. Because we're in that era where we need to clean, clear, and connect.
Yes, we are. Sometimes you have to break something to fix it. And the world looks like it's breaking apart, especially here in the United States. Not going to talk about that. But it looks like everything is breaking apart. But what's really happening is you can't clear it if you can't see it. So all that crap is coming to the surface, so we can clear it and move into a better way of living. So systems are being broken so we can fix them and create something better. And on a spiritual level, that's exactly what's happening right now.
You're absolutely correct, because it's been going on for so long, and it's been there all along. What's
Oh,
happening? It's
yeah.
being brought out now by a certain person, just saying it like it is, not hiding it, not dressing it all nicey
Not
nicey,
hiding it.
so we don't
Not saying
realize
the
it.
name.
No, it's just been said like it is. As you did as a child, you got something, you said it. People didn't like it.
Yep.
And this is what's happening. It's being said and people don't like it. But it was always being done. But it was
It's
dressed
always
up.
been there.
But now
Nobody
it's
talks
been
about
undressed. Yeah, and nobody talked about it. Now it's been undressed and being shown up, and it's not nice. It's
it.
time
No.
to get rid of it.
Yeah, people are saying, well, this came out of left field. We never saw it. No, you didn't. It's always been there. You're absolutely
always
spot on
been
right. It's always
Thank
been there. It's just been
Thank you.
this individual just brought it to the top for better or
Yeah,
for worse.
said it
And
like it is.
there's now
Took off the
chaos.
dressing.
But it's good. It's
Yes.
good chaos. I know
It's
it's
good.
chaos. I know
It's
that
good.
it's horrible. I know that people are getting hurt. But at the end of the
Yes.
day, our planet is going to be better for it. I
Thank
can't watch
you.
the news anymore. If you want, I can't watch the news. It breaks my heart. I end up in tears. So I actually can't even watch it.
I don't watch the news. I go into my local supermarket and they've got like a newspaper and magazines, everything. And I just look at the headline and then I walk on, do my shopping. I don't watch the news. I don't buy newspapers. I just do that to just keep in touch what's been going on. And I go on. But this is why I say it's a magical time we're living in, but it's a trying time. Magical because everything's been shoved up for us to see it, clean it, stand up and do something about it so it can be put right.
Okay, I'll be blunt. It sucks.
I know,
because
it has to be done.
Having to watch other people get hurt is just, it breaks my heart. But I know intuitively I don't judge. And that soul came into that body for a certain experience.
Yes.
And I'm not going to judge the experience they're getting. It wouldn't be one I would choose, but for whatever reason, that's the experience they wanted. So I don't judge. I keep all the love in my heart for everybody and spread forgiveness because it's the only thing I can do.
Beautifully said. You don't judge. You give that forgiveness. You don't judge anybody. That's what needed to be done. And you know it's going to work out in the end. But just give that love, give that energy and forgiveness. Forgiveness, whoever's doing what, forgiveness, because they've come in for that experience and go out. Catherine, we can go on. Okay, you've done all this. You're doing this work. If people want to connect with you, what are you doing? What's the books? How do they connect with you? Are you doing any courses, any retreats? Come on, let's hear what you're doing. So people, if they want to stretch out and connect with you, how can that be done?
You can go to my website, which is KatharineGiovanni.com. And thanks to my mother, my first name is spelled really odd. Thanks, Mom. And it's KATHARINE Giovanni.com. I have an online class that's really short. It's only 10 days, and every morning you'll get a little blast and a video from me. I have the books. All my books are on there. And we have a mastermind. There's a bunch of other stuff. So just go to my website. You can see the blog. You can read articles. There's all sorts of stuff on the site.
Okay, just say your website again, please.
It's KatharineGiovanni.com.
Fine. Katharine, before we say thank you and goodbye, this has been a blast. Can you give us a nugget or two of advice for the viewers? Because we're all going through what advice can you give us at this time? Little gold nugget or two.
You are worthy. You are worthy enough for forgiveness. You are worthy enough to lead a life of grace and privilege and prosperity and love. You're worthy enough to have a good car and a decent place to live. It's your birthright. You are worthy. And as you forgive all the people in your life, believe it or not, the universe is going to kind of work its magic, and it's going to start flowing to you, which you were always meant to have. So you'll be able to be your authentic self. The person you came to the planet to be, you will finally be able to be. Maybe you're a writer or a painter or a teacher, it doesn't matter. And you'll finally be able to be that person. But my message to everybody is you are worthy.
Thank you so much. And I just want to say, the more I speak to my peers like yourself and everybody, it's the same message coming through, that message of forgiveness. And it's not by chance that we're having you on speaking today, Katharine, because forgiveness is so very important. It affects what you've done, what people have done, what everybody, because we've all come for a reason, and we're not bad. It's just we've come for experience, and some of us go off cue or go offline, but we're all connected, and you want everybody to find their path, find their happiness, whichever way, to come back online so we can have this heaven on earth. It doesn't have to be in the sky, it can be here, but we have to vibrate, we have to create that beautiful vibration, and we can only do that from forgiving. And by us doing it, we're helping the others find their way of forgiving. So Katharine, thank you so much for this program, and for all of those who are listening today, thank you for being with us, and until the next time, bye for now everyone. Bye bye.